I know it's already the third week of January, but oh well. Today, I wanted to talk about my ins and outs for 2026. Welcome to Glue FM, ideas, stories, and conversations that help you hold it together. I'm Jesse. Let's get into it. So I thought it'd be best to start on a positive note with the ins and go in that order, and then we'll do the outs on the second half of the episode. This first thing that I think I have been thinking a lot about for myself, as well as a lot of people that I associate myself with and see, and something that I admire, is that a big in for 2026, I think, is going to be being earnest and not sarcastic, especially about wins or cool stuff you're doing or accomplishments or taking compliments, all that. We've lived in a world for so long where people will do this giant accomplishment, have something they're really proud of, but they will downplay it or make a joke out of it on even something as dumb as like an Instagram caption, right? They get some amazing job, they get some award, whatever, and the caption or what they tell people will be like, can't believe they hired my dumbass, or like something of that nature, right? And I think all that, and I've done it myself, right? Like, what the hell? Look what I did. I can't believe this happened. But I know behind those things was a lot of hard work and something that I'm proud of and something that I really want to enjoy. A kind of exposure therapy thing for me to do this before was when I posted my YouTube play button on Instagram. I was kind of nervous about it because I didn't want people to think I was like bragging or anything like that. But I wrote in the caption, like, yo, this took 3-4 years. I'm really proud of this. This was a lot of work. Thank you. This shit's dope. Like, I think it's cool to be proud of yourself, to be chalant, to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor and not have this kind of ironic distance that everything is kind of coded in, and to celebrate yourself and your wins for you, your friends, your family, everyone, and celebrate that stuff without apology and let yourself enjoy things. And I think it's cool. And I think you can also apply this to taking compliments, right? Taking compliments is so hard, but it's so weird when you don't receive them well, because it's weird for you and then it's weird for the giver. If I'm like, yo, Jesse, your design work is so fire. And I'm like, oh, nah, I don't know. Like, nah, I fucking suck. Or like, nah, I don't know. There's so much better. Then the person's just kind of like, yeah, well, I like it. And then it's like they're trying to convince you like more, like doubling down, like, no, it's cool. But then after a couple seconds, it's like, you could have just been like, thanks, man. That's dope. Like, I appreciate it. So yeah, being earnest. The second one is buying and maintaining an old car. This is something I think will be a big in 2026, is a return to older cars, to vehicles that feel more classic. And I think that this is a response to not only stuff was designed a lot better up until like the 2000s, but also that people yearn for this kind of nostalgia, and stuff was better back then, and old form factors. Like, I love a square body, almost anything. Everything now, especially with the rise of EVs and Teslas, is so round and kind of this like sleek, smooth, aerodynamic look that I know has a lot of safety benefits and whatnot, but is not that exciting from a design standpoint or just feeling good inside a vehicle. I recently got an old 91 F-150 four-wheel drive short bed. I really love it. It feels like one of the first cars I've had where it feels a lot like me in my current state of life I'm in. I enjoy being in it. I feel good in it. And one of my favorite channels, Speed, the guy James Pumphrey that runs it, he said, your car is your most important outfit. And I really like that. And I think it's good to have something that makes you feel like you. And having an old car and buying it comes with a lot of issues, even if the car is in pristine shape, there's still all these little things that are going to be broken, and that shit can be expensive after a while if you start going to a mechanic every time. So learning how to fix things on your own, even if it's not major stuff, and buying and maintaining an old car, I think is a really cool in and fun. And it's just cool to learn shit, right? Like, I've been learning how to work on this truck, and it's a lot less intimidating than you would think. There's YouTube University, you can kind of figure out everything. And it's also cool to work for something, save your money, buy it all at once, not have to worry about payments, and actually get to enjoy this thing that isn't putting you in debt, is hopefully cool. And you, as a byproduct of that, you get to learn more and be more in tune with the thing that takes you around everywhere you want to go. And I just think it's an in general to learn how to fix more stuff on your own. A lot of new cars, new technology make that hard. They make it so they don't want you to learn how to fix stuff on your own. They want you to bring it to these dedicated places because of all the safety and security features that they've implemented, whether it be an iPhone or a brand new Honda Civic. So your options you're left with: buying an old car and learning how to fix it yourself. Third in is using my design skills for good, for my friends and for myself. I'm a graphic designer and I've been doing that for over 10 years now. And we get wrapped up in these big client projects, serious work, all that stuff, that sometimes you forget to go back to the basics and use your skills for fun. If you're really good at cooking, you're probably going to cook for your friends, cook for people you love, cook for your family. If you know how to fix a roof, you're going to hopefully help your friends out with stuff like that or whatever. And people get paid for stuff. Sure, of course. But I think it's cool to use these crafts and these skills that you've learned for things other than just benefiting a greater capitalist system, right? Making stuff for fun for your friends, making holiday cards for my wife and I. I recently made a t-shirt for my homies that me and them all go to this trivia every Thursday at this brewery. Didn't tell them about it, didn't ask them for money, made a design, whipped it up, got it printed. I'm also supporting my homie who's a local screen printer, and I'm going to surprise them with that this week. So it's cool to, do stuff for yourself and for your friends using the skills you have. And for me, that would be design. The fourth in that I am looking forward to this year is creating more than I consume. We live in such an attention economy, and I'm not victim of it. Yeah, victim of it, but also I participate in trying to capture people's attention by posting content online. I'm a part of this greater problem. However, I think a lot of people should be online a little bit less and create more than you're consuming. So having an intentional output to input ratio. Ideally, you're creating more than half as much as you're consuming, right? 80-20. That would be the ideal scenario. I went through really bad spells, where all I'm doing is scrolling Reels, scrolling TikTok, looking at Pinterest, getting inspired. But that just feels like it can go on forever, and you never actually take all that input and generate output with it. So I think in this big attention economy that we live in 2026, it's going to be really big to create more than you consume. Next one, rock climbing. Obviously been pretty big the last few years, and it's been super big kind of its entire life, especially if you live in California with the outdoor stuff. I think indoor rock climbing, bouldering, going to a climbing gym is super in for 2026. It's fun. It's a workout. If you've never liked working out, like myself, if you think picking up heavy objects and putting them back down is not something that's very exciting to you, weightlifting, running, stuff like that. I think if you like games though, if you like mental activities, if you like challenging yourself and trying new things, rock climbing, perfect sport. It is physical, it's mental, has one of the best communities that I've ever been a part of in terms of being supportive, being excited for each other, being competitive and pushing each other, yes, but not in a ill way, in a way that it feels nefarious, Even when I used to go skate parks and stuff, right? It felt very intimidating to be around the people who were good. It doesn't feel this way. It only feels inspiring at the rock climbing gym. It's in to have something outside of your job that is fun. You can do with friends, but it's also good for you physically and mentally. It's a perfect sweet spot and hits all those things that I think are something that could be beneficial to your life. And I just feel like climbing in 2026, it's in too because it feels like the cool new action sport. I was telling my friend this the other day, rock climbing's low-key the new skateboarding. It's ingrained into a lot of fashion brands, streetwear, lookbooks. brands like Brain Dead and stuff doing collaborations and creating products for rock climbing. That would have probably never happened 10 years ago. So it's really cool to see a already fun sport be brought to the forefront of kind of visual culture and fashion and this more action sports world, but mixed with like merch and things like that. So definitely in. Next in, going to concerts. It's already been in, I think, for myself the last 10 years, but I think it's more important than ever, especially in a world that we live in that is ever more increasingly online, and we live in a world of streaming single songs and not enjoying artists' full artistry that they're putting out. Especially in the hardcore and punk scene, going to concerts, going to DIY shows is one of the best ways to support. It's fun. You get to be present. You get to have this shared experience and feel connected to a culture that you hopefully enjoy. If you haven't been to a concert in a while, especially if you like a lot of big artists where it costs a lot of money to go do something like that, it doesn't have to be a special occasion things. If you get into other more alternative or niche genres, or even supporting local artists at showcases or open mic type things, it's fun. Go to the next backyard show, go to a show at the local venue by your house and just kind of check it out, experiment. You might end up leaving with something you really enjoy. A lot of times when I've seen bands that I kind of know in person, it makes me love them only that much more, and I actually become a fan of that band if they put on a good show. Next in, playing games at bars. Darts, pool, pinball, that little shuffleboard thing with the sand on it, all that. Super low stakes fun that everyone can kind of enjoy. I haven't really met a person who doesn't like playing a little game while you're out drinking or whatever. I think it adds another social element without this pressure to just sit around and constantly eat food or drink the whole time you're at something. It gives you an activity to consume. Trivia, my favorite probably thing these days at a brewery. It's just fun to play old school games, right? Arcade games, pool, darts, whatever, like having this kind of analog activity and something that is fun and also again breaks us away from this so much digital world. I've been on a giant pinball kick lately. I think pinball is super sick. I love all the moving components. The local place I go to has like this app from the pinball machine, Stern, where you scan it and you get to keep your scores and shit. And that, adds to the kind of gamify of it. It makes it even more exciting. And also what I think is really dope about games at bars or breweries is it adds another element for the people to have fun that aren't drinking. It gives them something to do. No sober person wants to be left out of social activities and not be able to hang out, but they also don't want to just sit there and watch people drink the whole time. That's not very exciting, I could imagine. So having an activity that everyone can be involved in or people from the group can play or whatever, I think is a good thing, and a big in is some more games, in 2026. The next one is dinner parties and themed hangouts with your friends. As I get a lot closer to 30, I'm 28 now, I think it's not acceptable all the time to just sit around and play Mario Party or drink with your friends or play beer pong or sit on a couch. Having a house party is fun, especially New Year's, 4th of July with fireworks, a barbecue, whatever. But I think it's exciting to have a dinner party, have a themed party, Secret Santa, Halloween, a masquerade, whatever. Everyone dress up as their favorite character, a potluck, having some Friendsgiving, like dinner parties are sick. Having a theme around it, even cooler. And yeah, that can transition, into the thing that you maybe normally do where you sit around with your homies, drink, play video games, whatever. But having like a thing that people can get excited about and buying into it, it's cool to fully buy into shit, right? It's kind of goes with the first thing I was talking about, where like being earnest and being serious, like a themed party or whatever, and sending it. That's sick. Next one, paying full price to support your homie's crafts and services. Your homie runs a car detailing business. Your homie screen print shirt. He's starting a brand. He has a band. Whatever it is, no more homie discount in 2026. If they absolutely insist on giving you something for free or a discount, tip them fat, repay them in some other way. But I think it's good to support people's crafts and give them that motivation, and also you're their homie. Like if you're someone's friend, you should be the people that are their biggest supporters, not strangers that they have to acquire a business over time. You should be the one paying full price. And I don't think it makes sense to expect to get stuff for free just because you know someone. And it's kind of lame. Like it's dope to support your friends' businesses or crafts or whatever it is. And everyone has to start from somewhere. So you're their core community. Why be a shitty customer? Next in, traveling more within the United States. I think everyone is so inclined to go to Asia, Europe, and all these other places. And most of the time, they haven't even been to other states within the US, or maybe a few. I live in California, so it's way too large. It feels like you're always just in California because you can drive 8 hours up and still be in the same state, or multiple hours to the east, and it feels a lot more like you're locked in. But flying, driving far, road trips, stuff like that, I think I still do want to go to more places in Europe and Asia and stuff. I think it's exciting and fun, but I also want to explore more of the country that I live in and that I'm from. And I think especially in the Midwest, I want to explore more in the East Coast, in the South, all that kind of stuff. Last in, physical media, more records, books, CDs, whatever you want to consume. Everything is so streaming based. It feels like you don't own anything, not even just physically anymore, but even digitally. Everything is built into a cloud or a subscription service you're paying for. I mean, and also the design and the haptic aspect of it is cool. Having a record, having something beautiful to look at, a physical book, having it on a shelf, building a little collection. It feels good. It's fun. And it just feels better almost always than holding an iPad or a phone or a Kindle or listening to an audiobook in an AirPod. Like that's fun and has its purpose. I think physical media should be a big in for 2026. Having this ownership versus just access and embracing a more slower consumption, I think is good. And we have to be real with ourselves. Like if Spotify or Apple Music completely went down, how many of us would have zero music to listen to? Those were some of the ins. I would love to hear your ins for 2026 in the comments, or if you agree or disagree with some of those ones that I said. It's just my perspective. For outs, 2026, starting off strong. Number one, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I think it's just become a terrible social media app. Almost everything you see on there is negative or ads or weird AI stuff, from misinformation to porn to like stuff that's an attention drain and probably not good for you to consume on a regular basis in the daytime. And it just further feeds this kind of outrage cycle and this recreational rage. And there's bots and people trolling. It just feels overall like a very negative place to live in. And sure, I post my design work on there and it performs sometimes, and I post other random things. But every time I end up looking at Twitter, like sure, I learn some news and stuff here and there, but half the time I don't even know if the information I'm getting is accurate. I end up stumbling upon something like gnarly and bad, and it's like the algorithm just seems like insane. And the UI has sucked really bad ever since Elon took over and X, and the Grok AI thing is like always wrong about shit and being used for like nefarious things. It's just a shitty app. Too much brain rot, violence, bots, all that. Twitter's out. Similarly, next out is getting your political opinions from Instagram infographics. We've all seen those Instagram infographics on an explore page, on someone's story, in the feed, reshared, whatever. And I think these are a dangerous kind of thing sometimes. I think sometimes they can be good to help support things in the community or help get awareness around stuff. But I think sometimes when people don't have a full understanding of a certain thing going on or picture, it gives them this really shallow viewpoint of the world, and they don't do a lot of further digging into it. I think it's a lot of emotional manipulation in these things, and there's really not ever nuance built into any of this stuff that you see. And I really think a lot of these pages are just trying to engagement farm and benefit from the bad stuff going on in the world. I think there's good people and good players in all this stuff, yes. And I do think it's good to support things that you truly believe in, but only if you truly believe in them, not because an Instagram infographic is scaring you into thinking you should post it on your story. I think there's a lot of guilt built in from peers, from all that stuff to performatively support something, even if you're not actually going to these events or actually doing the real stuff that will help benefit things that are bad and people in crisis and people in need. Go out and actually do shit, right? Go to a rally, go vote, go support the things you believe in. That will do 1,000,000 times more than posting the next cool, trendy Instagram infographic about something that people are outraged about on your Instagram story. Next out, AI generated art and content has been out ever since it's existed. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's devaluing the craft of many visual arts, illustration, graphic design, video, photography. A lot of it's slop. I've seen some cool uses where they're integrated into someone's actual workflow and craft that has value behind it. But for the most part, it's just people who have never really been that creative wanting to be a part of a certain industry. And I want things to feel more human again and more slow. And I don't think everything has to be so optimized where we can create something by writing in a prompt. The cool thing about AI art and slop content and all this shit becoming to the surface is I think it values more human, slower stuff more. So it's good for podcasts, things like this. I think it's driven the design world to be going more tactile and analog and having, stuff printed, cutting stuff out by hand, doing real world manipulation and stuff like that. I think is becoming more yearned from the audience and also more desired by the designers as well to do more stuff that, helps differentiate it. And I think we'll soon live in a world where, when you buy like a product or something and it's like made in USA, and that's something that, it might cost more. It might not be the most efficient. It might not be the best option or whatever for you to buy in terms of your price, value, speed, but you're supporting something good and it's probably a good quality handmade thing. I think we'll get to a point where that will be a thing like made by humans instead of AI when we live in a world where a lot of stuff is going to be generated by computers. Next out is streaming only singles instead of full albums. I've done this when I used to have Apple Music. I did this a lot because I would see the starred songs. I'd listen to those, and it's bad. You're doing a disservice to yourself. You're not fully supporting the artist. You're just proving that you don't have patience for a full idea and you don't want to consume something within context. And I think albums are intentional, entire bodies of work, and it's good to listen to the whole thing, even if you're streaming it, even if you're just doing it once to give it a chance and then you can like your favorite songs. At least give it a go one time around. It's like watching just highlights of a game or the best part of a movie. That it's still good, but you're not getting the build up and all the other supporting acts around it and what makes that moment even better. I think it's the same thing with music and albums. Next out, using headphones everywhere you go and not socializing. Caveat, if you have stuff going on with your mental health, if you're stressed, if you just want to be alone, if that music is something that's comforting you in that moment, go for it. But I think in general, we do a little bit too much of opting out of these human moments and connections with strangers. I think it's good to not be so insulated all the time, to be present, to step out of your comfort zone. Like just talk to a stranger. When I used to go to the rock climbing gym without my friends, I would wear headphones. Then I realized a few things. I wasn't meeting a lot of new people there. The music they play at the gym is actually really good, so I might as well just listen to that. And I was isolating myself from this community I've learned to love and is so dope. So talk to someone, talk to a stranger. It might not always go well. Don't wear your headphones in every social situation when you're out running errands or whatever. Just try it. You don't have to like it. It might not be for you. I think using headphones everywhere you go is out for 2026. Another big out is filming strangers in public. That shit's whack. Those people aren't consenting to it, especially if it's a prank or something embarrassing or something bad for somebody. I don't understand why people want to make people's life shittier and post embarrassing things of people online or just film people anyway. Even if it's positive, it's just weird to film someone without their knowledge. It's showing that you don't really have a respect for any type of boundaries. I think not our brains get broken and we think everything's content and everything's funny and everything's for our own kind of joy and amusement at other people's demise even, and that's whack. And just all that prank shit is so lame, and just stop filming people in 2026 if they don't want you to be doing it. This one's kind of similar to like buying stuff for your homies, and as an in, the out counterpart is asking people to Venmo or Zelle you back for stuff that's under $10. If you're in a position where that needs to happen and you need that small amount of money, where like I've been there, you're down bad, don't spot people, because you can't expect that stuff to always come back around. I don't want to be paid back. If I get you, like I got you, right? Especially with homies, it all comes around eventually. You've all bought each other beers, you've all bought each other food, you've all spotted each other on a concert ticket, weed, whatever, and it's not worth it, because then you're just creating this resentment in yourself. If they don't pay you back, you have to hunt them down. You have to be like all weird, whipping out your phone at a bar or whatever. And I think if you don't want to buy something for someone or spot them, just don't. And that's fine. You're not a bad person or anything. But I think if it's like a small item, like you're buying someone a drink or whatever, just do it and chalk it up to like that was a gift. You bought it for them. They don't owe you. Like it's not a loan. It's just a grant, it's a present. Here's the thing. Don't worry about it. They'll get you back. They will. If it's a good friend, it'll all come around. So just don't worry about it. Probably one of my biggest outs of the year, calls that could be an email. I'm so sick of getting emails where people want to set up this call and it's something they could have very easily explained for a job, for a graphic design thing, whatever, over email. And they always want to set up a call to talk about the idea, break it down, whatever. And it's cool sometimes, and that exploratory phase can be good, but I think it's better to do it after you've already agreed to the job and signed a contract and stuff, because a lot of times you do this call, it kind of wastes time, it disrupts your workflow of the day, and you might not even end up doing the project. So I think respecting people's time is big. Send them a detailed email, have good clarity. We don't need to always do calls. Fewer meetings just in general. And I think 1 hour call to me is worth like 6 hours of work. I swear. Like, I know that makes me sound like a baby, but doing a call is so draining, and having to do this long thing, and it interrupts the workflow and the flow state that you're probably in if your workday, especially if you work from home. I can't imagine having those like email jobs where all you do is do calls and meetings and managerial business stuff. No more Zooms. Next out, matcha flavored things that aren't matcha. I think matcha is dope. It's had a big rise in 2025. We saw it in the performative male whole sphere, but it's always been cool. It's a traditional thing. It's always been good. And I think there's a lot of cool places that make really good matcha. You can buy cool stuff. You can go down the rabbit hole and get into it, and that's cool. But we don't need any more matcha flavored stuff, candy, popsicles, whatever. Like, I think I'm over that. Next out, Teslas. I'm a 100% big Tesla hater, even before everyone hated Elon Musk, even when he was one of the liberals kind of heroes, when he was going to save the planet and shit when I was in college or whatever. But Tesla suck. It's not a car company. It's a shitty tech company who happens to make cars. The fitment on everything sucks. The panels suck. The cars are ugly. They look too smooth. The driving experience is bad. You always feel car sick, especially if you're sitting in the back seat. Easily say the CEO kind of sucks. So you're driving around a car, at least with these other billionaire car company owners, you don't really know a lot about them. So ignorance is bliss, I guess, type thing. But there's no tradition in these cars. They don't sound good. They don't feel good. Everything's a screen. There's no buttons. There's no haptic experience. There's no sounds. The bad thing is these are the cars that the point A to point B type of drivers are getting now. The guy who never cared about driving or cars, that always had a Corolla or a Civic and just wanted something reliable, a commuter, that's cool. Now those are the same people buying Teslas. You're giving them arguably one of the fastest cars on the street, and they don't even know how to drive. They don't care. They're on their phones. They're expecting this self-driving thing to protect them from any scenario. And this ain't even a dig at all EVs. Yes, I love gas cars, and yes, I'm super into car culture and certain aspects of it, but there's so many other cooler EVs from proven dope car companies, Porsche, Ford, Honda. No real reason at this point to be buying a Tesla, especially one of those egg-shaped Model 3s. Next out is artisanal and whitewashed Mexican restaurants. I think that these don't taste good. They are usually a disgrace to any type of actual traditional cooking and culture, and they are bad. You know, if a Mexican restaurant has a brand identity and merch and shit, it's probably going to be mid. I want the taco truck who has photoshopped images that aren't at the right perspective and tape over all the prices where they increase it every year or so to keep up with inflation. You don't want your Mexican food to have good graphic design. That's a perfect sign that it's going to be gentrified to like artisanal, overpriced, and whitewashed. And you also don't get to support your local community when you go to places like this. In general, these like millennial coded taco places that have like a pink neon sign that says like Mi Amor on it or something, those are the places you want to stay out of. And this kind of goes with that. The next one, late stage capitalism snacks out. Taco Bell flavored beef jerky. I saw a Slim Jim that was a collab with Sonic, and it was a chili cheese dog Slim Jim. Top ramen flavored Funyuns. Jolly Rancher collabs with an energy drink. All that stuff, I think it's just proven how deep we've gone down the late stage capitalism rabbit hole of these weird consumerism collabs that no one really asked for. Everything doesn't have to be a brand activation. I'm sick of it. You know, it's cynical consumption that we've fallen into, and it's all like that. They're all going for that novelty first purchase type of sale, right? No one's gonna get that again. No, the Shaq gummies aren't gonna be anyone's favorite snack, you know, that they repeat by. And Shaq, oh my God, what a dope basketball player, especially on his time with the Lakers and the Magic. But dude's just so money hungry, he'll do anything. He's like the type of dude who's a commercial for Israel and Palestine, you know, back to back. Can't be trusted that his gummies are going to be good if he's down to sign a 20-year contract for a general insurance company. That was my last out though, I think. So these are both the things that I'm gravitating towards this year and the other shit that I want to leave behind. What is one big in that you have for 2026? And what's an out that you want to leave behind back in 2025? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.